Well, I'm so excited this week to welcome Dr. Renee Tucker today. She's a holistic equine veterinarian and she's been doing this for over 30 years. She's the creator of the Tucker BioKinetic Technique, which is an energy healing modality that anyone can learn. And I love the fact that her website is called wheredoesmyhorsehurt.com and she can show you and tell you and teach you how to heal it. So, a very warm welcome, Dr. Renee.
Gosh, thank you, Tracy. It's just such an honor to be here. I love chatting with people who are trying to do their best to get horse information out there to help them because they're such amazing animals. Just love them. So I want them to be very happy.
Absolutely. And kind of linked to that, can you tell us a little bit about your journey to where you are now?
Gosh, okay. So a little bit is hard, but let's see. I grew up in Chicago in a suburb where there were no horses. So I don't really know how I got here. I think I was born with the horse bug, as many people are, but I like riding. I did do hunters and jumpers early, my as a teenager. But mostly I like to give horses hugs and to just ask them, "Okay, how are you doing? Is anything okay? How can I help you?" This that just I love it. That's me. And I that this is just what some people are piano prodigies and some people can speak 20 languages and I just want to help horses. It's just that's how that happened. So I went to vet school and University of Tennessee, which is a great school. And I go with this love of horses and wanting to help them. And I think I'll go to vet school. I will know everything and I can fix it all. And then I was quite disappointed a few years after graduating to find out not true. Veterinary school is fantastic for some things, but there's a lot we just don't know, can't really help with. We could manage the problem, but veterinary science is not going to get everything. It's just the way it is. It's not what we're trained for. I'm disappointed. I'm sure some people have had disappointing times as well because there's just a limit. But I realized that limit a couple years into practicing. Then I thought, oh gosh, what else can I do? Because I want to help this and I can't help back sorenesses. I can't help phantom lamenesses. I can't help all these things that people sense and they just feel like the horse is off. I can't do anything with that as a veterinarian. There's nothing for me to block or inject or x-ray. I can't,
Yeah.
there's nothing. So I did end up going to chiropractic certification and then acupuncture certification, which again are great. They definitely help, but they help the so with chiropractic, it's aligning the bones, right? So if the bone alignment is the primary problem, then chiropractic, perfect. You're
Yeah.
done. But if the bone alignment is not the primary problem, it's not the root cause, well, it might help a little while, but it comes right
Yeah.
back again. So the whole thing just kept going. So I did acupuncture, like I said, took a bunch of other classes, ended up having to do energy work, which I never thought I'd do that because that's crazy. Uh, But then, yeah, created the Tucker BioKinetic Technique, which is a type of energy work that anyone can learn if you're interested. And not just interested, but open to it. Because I thought that was all crazy woo-woo stuff. And 30 years later, here I
Yeah.
am. But that's what works because we are all energy. We're
Hmm.
100% energy. The horse is 100% energy. Sure, we can look at it in anatomical parts as well, but it's all energy.
Yeah.
So,
That I mean
yeah.
that's quite a turnaround, isn't it, to come from a very solid scientific background where you're dealing with peer-reviewed science and so on, and then kind of end up with looking at energy, but that has a science basis as well. Like you were saying, everything is energy, so we're kind of going into the field of physics in some ways.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, 30 years ago, I thought energy work was just the weirdest thing ever and impossible, right? Who can work with energy? But I mean, the thing is, people believe in gravity without seeing it. And then we've
Yeah.
got electricity. Sure, there's electrical wires, but there's electricity. And now there's Wi-Fi. You think I know how my phone works? No. but I use it. So
Yeah.
how's all that energy working out there being transmitted to us? Uh, but we don't have to understand that to use it. And that's kind of the key to energy work is you don't really have to understand every single thing in quantum physics
Yeah.
to use it. So like quantum physics would explain it, like quantum entanglement and double slit experiments and stuff like this can explain what we're doing, but you don't have to know all that complicated stuff in order to use it, which is
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely an advantage that I don't need to become a quantum physicist.
For sure. Yeah.
So when you think about the clients that you have, nowadays and the clients that you're helping, then I mean, it's a minefield, isn't it, for a horse owner and probably for the vets as well. What exactly is wrong with the horse and to find out what's the primary pain, is what you're looking at referred pain, all these kind of challenges. And on top of that, I think the horse owners find it a challenge to stay positive, especially if it's a problem where you're digging and you're digging and you're digging and you're not really finding, is it the front end? Is it the back end? Oh, I don't know, because it seems to be a bit of both. So how do you help horse owners stay positive when they're at the end of their tether?
Yeah. I totally get that because that's happening all over the place. People have things that don't seem to be fixable and they're just trying to manage it. And at some points you're like, is it worth it for my horse? Is my horse suffering? And then you
Yeah.
have sleepless nights wondering, well, how much pain are they in? It can get pretty miserable. But I do want to say, horse owners, you're right. I would like you to know because a lot of times people think veterinarians won't see what they're seeing or agree with them or think there's a problem because vets are trained. If we can't see it ourselves, we can't really do anything.
Mm.
But by the time a horse owner notices the horse is off, even if you can only feel it while you're riding, that's great. You are right about that. So just take, encouragement that
Yeah.
you're right. Because by the time as humans can see something or feel something, the horse is already starting to lose their ability to compensate.
Right.
Because
Right.
as a prey animal, they're designed to hide any problems, right? Because otherwise they'd
Yeah.
be targeted. So they hide it, not to be shy or whatever, just because that's what they do. But when they can't compensate anymore, that's when we start seeing it, or that's when we start feeling it. Okay. So you're right, first of all. Then, now of course, this all depends on what's really going on, what problems you're having. But you can check all the parts of the horse. I do have a book, Where Does My Horse Hurt? And it's also on the website. Just showing if the knee hurts, you want to find out is that the knee problem? Here's how you move. And there's pictures and step-by-step instructions. Because you got to start someplace,
Yeah.
right? And it does get very confusing because, like you said, it could be a compensation. So sometimes by the time the vets can really see it and we do flexion tests and x-rays and block everything, that's all fine. They might find, say, a very sore hock. Hock flexions are bad. Maybe there's a little arthritis on the x-ray. So they inject the hock. Fine. But what if the hock was compensating for something else?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a sacroiliac problem. Maybe it's a diagonal problem. You don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one kind of general rule that's sometimes helpful to get started is that if it's more obviously lame or off at a walk compared to a trot, it's usually a body alignment issue. Just a general rule. It's going to
Yeah.
get you like
Yeah.
80%.
Yeah.
But if it's more obviously lame or off at a trot compared to a walk, that's usually more musculoskeletal, and you're probably going to start with a vet then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that might help ease a little bit of what do I do? Because there's so many choices,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Do you start with a vet? Do you talk to your farrier first? Maybe you just need a trainer, or
yeah, yeah, yeah,
what is hurting? Yeah, that's the big deal. Where does it hurt?
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That's really useful because if you ask 10 experts from different fields, you get 10 different answers. But
Right,
that's good to know which one do you go for first.
right,
And if you're working with a really great vet, then they're going to be able to say to you, you need a physio or you need a behaviorist or whatever it might be as
right.
on top. Oh, that's great. So tell us a little bit about how you notice that a horse is in some kind of discomfort or pain. We talked on the podcast several months ago now with Dr. Sue Dyson, who has her 24 signs of pain in the ridden horse. And do you do something similar?
Um, I saw her, is it ethogram, however do you call it? It's
Mm,
very nice. I really, if people are curious about what different types of presentations that horses will show for pain, then I think that's a great place to start. Now, for me, I really go by what the owner has noticed, and
okay.
I trust the owner's connection to the horse.
Hmm.
What I would just suggest people might want to be more, a little bit open up their mindfulness.
Yeah.
I don't know the right words because I'm not in the mindfulness field, but let me give you an example so maybe you'll know what I'm talking about. One time I was working with a horse, a lovely lady, and this horse was a Western pleasure horse and Western performance as well. So most in some of their classes, they have to stand with their feet square, right? So their front feet are lined up and their back feet are lined up in a perfect square. Technically a rectangle, but that they call it squared up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm trying to, evaluate the horse and talk to the owner, and like 20 times in like 15 minutes, she's correcting the horse because he keeps wanting to put his left front foot forward. So I noticed this, and I didn't, I'm not upset at all. She's just trying to gently encourage the horse to stand correctly so that he will know what to do that when he's, being judged. So
Yeah.
fine. It was very calm, very polite, but it was like 20 times.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. And it was always the left front. It's one thing if horse is fidgety, and
Yeah.
putting one foot or the other, but it was always the left front. So I just asked the owner, I said, so does he always want to put his foot forward? And she's like, yes, I keep trying to train him. I'm being so patient, but it's really not working well. I said, well, sometimes horses are trying to tell you something. If he's only putting the left foot forward, then he might be sore in the left front. And putting your left or any foot forward all the time can be a sign of navicular issues creeping up. And she was just shocked. Just it did not ever cross her mind that her horse would be communicating something with
Yeah.
body language. And as
Yeah.
soon as
Yeah.
I did that, she's like, oh my gosh, I just never thought of that. So I think that everybody listening to this podcast loves their horse and just is already noticing these little details. And then if you just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to be available to hear from my horse about any issue. If you just say that, it just sort of opens up your brain to, I guess, more interpretations of what
Yeah.
could be going on. Because
Yeah.
she was only
Yeah.
seeing misbehavior or possibly misunderstanding of what his horse was supposed to do rather than, hey, the horse is saying, I'm talking to you. Look at my
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it. Just being open to what they're trying to say, and you never know what it might be.
Okay. So once you've noticed one of these quite nuanced changes sometimes that, like you say, we often mistake for miscommunication. They didn't understand what we wanted as a rider, or maybe even misbehavior of some type, or fidgeting, nervousness, whatever it might be. Once you've noticed something like that that's repetitive and it's the same leg or this whatever, what do you do next? What's next on the checklist?
Okay, so should I just continue that story then?
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so
Yeah,
if the horse was doing that, that horse was not yet lame at the time. So, okay, if your horse was doing that and they were lame, it'd be, is it worse at a walk or a trot?
right. Yeah.
It is more obvious at a trot, which it generally is if there's any kind of navicular stuff happening, then you would call your vet. And they'd be like, oh, I see the horse always wants to put its foot forward and it's lame at a trot. Let me do my x-rays, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yeah.
But if it's not lame yet, then what? Now you can't really call the vet because most people know full well if the vet can't see it, what's the point? You
Yeah.
know? So again, you can do the checkups that are in my book. And the other thing though is if the horse's, in this case, the horse's heels were contracted. So
Mhm.
that's where the back of the foot, the heel bulbs are way too close together. So we need those heels expanded or you start getting heel pain. So that's something that sometimes the farrier or the trimmer knows about and sometimes they don't. Or they know about it, but don't really know what to do about it. So it's kind of just step by step. It's so hard to narrow it down, but you do checkups first and say, okay, well, if the knee doesn't hurt and the shoulder doesn't hurt because I've done all these checkups, then it could be the
Mm.
foot. Let me talk to the farrier. Fair enough. Or let me talk to a different farrier. Get another opinion because you never know, right? Because everyone gets trained differently. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And then there's of course the diagonal compensations, and then it can get all very confusing. So at that point, I would really try to call a TBT practitioner because we can help you with anything. And what we do is we use the energy field. So I don't know if you guys know, there's an energy field that comes off the body. And they've measured this now. So for horses, it comes off like 10 feet for the horse. It's 10 feet. This is why they know what you're up to. As soon as you walk up to the door, they can feel your energy really far away. Whereas the humans is about 2 feet out of the body. All right. So then when you're next to your horse, you have these energy fields overlapping, which is cool. So then you can learn to discern different things and kind of like a battery has a positive and a negative. So you could even learn to ask yes or no questions because you'll get either positive or negative.
Yeah.
So that might sound weird. It totally sounds weird to my science brain, but it is energy. And you can do it in many different ways. There's lots of different techniques. I mean, isn't NLP an energy work as well? So you
Oh, yeah,
use
yeah,
that.
yeah. It really is. And I'm on the same wavelength as you, to use a scientific term. Um,
Nice.
in
Very
that,
good.
my background is biochemistry. So I mean,
Oh,
that's not
yeah.
very energetic, but I think very similarly to you that all organisms, even plants, give off energy fields. And like you said before, and you illustrated it so well by saying things like, well, we can't see Wi-Fi, we can't see electricity, we can't see gravity, but we see the effects. And
Right.
we can definitely, with our animals, sense these things, can't we? If we just take the time, you've got to still your mind a little bit as well, haven't you?
Yes. Yes, it's so true. There's in the TBT university where I teach it, then there's different parts of your brain. So the front of your brain is like your busy brain. It's a beta wavelength. It's thinking, thinking, busy, busy, thinking. But where the answers are is in the back of your head in a theta wavelength. So kind of like a ground, calm, meditative state where you can actually connect best with these energy fields. So but it's tricky, isn't it though? Because when you're trying to be calm when your horse is having a problem or in pain, you're like, oh my gosh, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. Oh my God,
Yeah.
da, 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 da. You can't get it. You can't. So you have to learn some techniques to just calm down and be grounded and then ask yes, no questions and you can get an answer. And it doesn't have to be specific. Yeah, my tendon hurts. No, just, hey, how about is it this leg? Yes or no? Should I call the vet? Yes or no? Right? Is it your saddle
Oh,
fit?
wow.
Yes
Yeah.
or no? Yeah, so that's all. And of course, what does my horse want? It's just yes or no energies. There's definitely other ways to do it. Some people do dowsing with a pendulum. Some people use their hands with the fingers. Um, you guys familiar with that? Where it's just energy. We're asking
Yeah, yeah.
circulating energy. Do you stay circulating and do you say stay strong when I ask this question? Or do you get weak? Um,
Yeah.
so there's all
Yeah.
kind of kinesiology techniques, many different ways of checking this out. But yeah, so
Fabulous.
yeah, then you don't have to rely on everybody else and their, like you said, 10 opinions, because it really could be any of those. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
how do you know? And frankly, it could even be 10 different things, but they're all built up in layers of compensations.
Yeah.
What's the root cause? What's the primary cause? How do you get to that? And then what do you do is all about asking questions.
Oh,
So
fabulous.
that's what I do.
Yeah. And the TBT practitioners, I know there are people in the UK,
Mhm.
and I know obviously they're spread across the States as well. So when they come to you, what do they do? What do they, I mean, is it like Reiki or how do they perform their practice?
Gosh. Well, there's 7 modules to TBT, right? And
Oh,
then
okay. Okay.
that course I just mentioned, the what does my horse want? That yes and no energy question, that's a prerequisite course, just
Yeah.
to see if you like this or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're not into energy work, that's cool. There's plenty of ways to help horses, right? But if you come in, then we learn like so much stuff. I guess the shorthand would be we look at the horse obviously holistically, which means the whole horse. So we learn about what should they be eating, what should they be, uh, the food, the saddle fed, the trimming, all this stuff in the environment, this kind of stuff. But then we look at the horse kind of in 5 categories. So there's the physical part of the horse, then there's the emotions, then the mental, there's a spiritual and other category. There's so many parts of the energy field. Certainly the body is physical, but energies affect everything,
Yeah.
right? And maybe you've been around a very negative or sad, grieving person, and that the energy itself can pull you down.
Mm-hmm.
Not that one shouldn't be sympathetic. I'm just trying to give an example here
No,
of
no, yeah.
energy affects people, an energy field, and sometimes if someone's super negative, you just feel that negativity. You want to back away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're feeling that stuff without knowing it. Once again, we can't see it, but we know it's there and it affects us. So we look at all of those categories to make sure everything is clear, everything is aligned and beautiful, and the horses just change right in front of your eyes. It's really cool.
Oh, wow. Wow. So it's an alignment of the energy, a realignment where it's needed in whichever particular energy field that is needed. That's what
Correct.
a TBT practitioner can do for you.
That's right. And then we absolutely go by what's primary for the horse.
Hmm.
Because sometimes with certain techniques, and I'm not saying they're bad, it's just the way they do it, is you start with the top thing and you take off that problem and you do the next one and then you do the next
Yeah.
one, kind of like peeling an onion is what typically people say. And there is some of that that needs to be done. But what I really like doing is sneaking into the very center of the onion and
Yeah.
getting rid of that primary root cause first. Because if you can do that, then a lot of times the rest of that onion just unpeels itself. And that just shortcuts all the healing time. And
Yeah.
it's really, really
Yeah.
sweet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if I were to use TBT, let's say I get a practitioner to come and see my horse. Is it multiple sessions that are required? Is it one session, or does it depend on the horse and the ailment?
Of course, it depends on the horse.
Yeah,
So most, like 90% of the time, you're going to see amazing changes in one session. Horses who've had issues and problems that have gotten layered and layered over years of time, that's
yeah,
going to take a few sessions.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I just had a horse the other day, which was only 4 years old, and the horse, I can't do it with my arm, but
Mhm.
constantly was going in with their, which one was it? The right front leg.
Yeah.
They instead of walking straight, they would go in and then out. And it had done it
Okay.
their whole life, and it was 4 years
Yeah.
old. And they just thought, well, that's just the horse. They're just born with this or whatever. And they actually had called me for something completely different. Like the horse's head was in the air and just too fussy. So sure, it had some neck misalignments, but I was like, oh, well, I'll just fix the sternum, right? The center of the breastbone there, that's the center of the barrel. And I just fixed the sternum because it was way off to one side and that right front shoulder was a mess. Fix the sternum, fix the shoulder, and the horse walked off straight. And it was nothing to me because I thought, well, it's clearly crooked. I'll fix it. And the owner's like, I didn't even, what? We're like, you know what I mean? You get to where you think that's normal
Yeah,
or
yeah,
acceptable,
yeah,
or that horse is just old or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And it's just all fixable if you have enough time. Because,
Wow.
like I said, some decades of stuff pile up. You
Yeah,
got to unravel some of that stuff.
yeah.
Otherwise, it can be so cool. You just fix it. That's
Oh,
what I love. I just love it.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. So, I would be really interested to join the university, the TBT university. So tell me about it. Tell me, are there entry requirements? I know you said there's a little kind of prerequisite course that
Mhm.
we would do, but how do you do it? Do I have to sign on to Zoom? Do I have to attend lectures? How does it
Oh,
run?
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, so there's the prerequisite course, and then you apply. And I'll let you know. I love to hear about people's backgrounds and everything they know. And then I ask. I ask in the energy field, I ask God, is it best for this person to join? That's what
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not. And not that you, maybe later it will be, but maybe I don't know anything about the person, right? But maybe in their situation, not right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know why I went on about that, but that's what happens. And then we have the 7 modules, and now we have everything on demand. So you can watch the videos whenever you want. There are a lot of videos, sorry, but they're really good, very informational, of course. And then as you go along, then there's case reports, where if you learn the first part, like in module 2, you learn all of skeletal alignment, all of it. That's the TBT technique. You can align the whole skeleton all by yourself.
No
Get it
way.
done. Yeah, and that's in 2 modules. That's it of the 7. Okay, so you can do all that yourself. And then you don't even have to continue if you don't want to. But anyways, at module 2, then I ask you to turn in case reports. So you send a report and then before and after picture. And so you can see the difference in the horse. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, you're doing this right. Good job. Do continue if you like. There's a whole lot more categories than just
Yeah.
skeletal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and then you just keep going and there's case reports. We have, groups that are on Facebook right now. So you have ask any questions. We have a mentorship program. So everybody gets it. So you don't have to have a lot of anatomy knowledge or
Hmm.
none of that stuff. We have people coming in who are horse owners. We have people that are barefoot trimmers that just want to also help. We have saddle fitters coming in. I have several veterinarians who've come through, which is like good for you, right? Because it's hard
Yeah.
to move from that science box into, something different that'll work. We've had acupuncturists, all kind of people from any variety of knowledge base and experience with horses. I've had people as young as 18 coming in, and our oldest practitioner is 75. She's
Great.
helping out at a rescue with her retirement money, and she's like, what am I saving it for? Let
Oh,
me learn how to do this. And she does awesome. She does
yeah.
awesome. It's
Yeah.
it's fantastic. So yeah, no requirements. Just an open mind to, energy works.
Yeah.
Can't quite understand
So,
it all. I don't. I just use
so
it.
it wouldn't be like heavily academic. Like I don't
No.
need to know the names of all the bones and I don't need
No.
to know the names of all the muscles and that kind
Mm-mm.
of thing.
No, and nothing wrong with all that, but
No.
I don't want people to get stuck on scientific terminology.
Yeah, yeah.
We're using energy, and the horse doesn't care what that bone is called.
Yeah.
They just want you to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, it's called something else in another language, so nobody cares, right? I mean, I understand. The information is in there for people who know that stuff already, and it's helpful to them. But no,
Mm.
no, you don't have to know any scientific jargon.
So how did you get into it? How did you decide? this stuff works. It shouldn't work.
Mhm.
My science brain is now exploding because it works, but how
I
did you
know. Yes,
decide that
that's
it
exactly what
does
happened.
work?
Yes. Well, like kind of like I mentioned, I started chiropractic and I saw how well it worked if it's a bone alignment root cause. And same with acupuncture. If it's kind of that electrical acupuncture, the chi and the meridians, if that's the primary, this works great. And I kind of figured out from there after taking several other courses, okay, this program or whatever it is works great if that's the primary. And if that's the primary, right? It's
Yeah.
all this stuff. And I thought, I need something that cheats. I need something that can get all of it. So I did take a couple energy work courses that opened my brain. They were for humans.
Yeah.
They're related to Upledger school, if people are familiar with that. So I saw that it worked, and I thought that was crazy. But I thought, I need this on horses, but I need it much simpler because it's the ones I took were too bookish,
Yeah.
too much thinking. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're thinking all the time in your beta brain, it actually screws up or really dampens the energy work that you want to do. You want to be in theta, relax, and meditative. You can't think about a million different things.
Yeah.
Going back to the anatomical concepts, you can't be thinking of all those science words. It
Yeah.
drops
Yeah.
you right into the front of your brain. So that's why I keep it really simple. So yeah, I just got to that, and frankly, I was just stuck with so many clients. I just prayed, my God, can you please help me here? You gave me this huge desire to help horses. I need an answer. And so little by little over the years, I mean, I've been doing this probably at least 15 years now. I got the whole design where we can get to anything, all of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So it's great. Yeah.
And has there been a particular horse or group of horses or a particular ailment or symptom that just blew you away? I'm sure there's lots. I'm sure there's
So
millions of
many,
them.
so
But
many.
could you just relate one story for us?
Gosh, one.
Put you on the spot now.
There's so
Hardest
many. I
question.
can't even. No, just so for example, like I lurk in a lot of Facebook groups for horses, like lots of them. I think all of them.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I want to know what's going on. And so many of them, it's just breaking my heart. So there's one, the horses with sacroiliac issues. They're in so much pain. Yeah, they're getting sacroiliac injections, which help. That's fine. But it keeps coming back, and
yeah,
some of these horses are dragging their legs. They can't walk, let alone go for a ride. And they're just lame, and they've done everything. They've injected everything. They've done MRIs. They've done it all. They have spent so much money, and the
yeah,
horse isn't any better. And they're thinking of putting it down.
yeah.
So I'm like, guys, I don't say this to everyone. Okay.
No.
In my mind, I'm saying this. I'm like, guys, it's the pelvic symphysis. Okay. That's the base of the pelvis. So if the pelvis is a big square, it's the bottom middle of the pelvis. When that can get crooked, anytime the horse falls, not a gentle fall, but a kabam kind of fall,
Yeah, yeah,
that can get shifted. So your pelvis, which should be a nice square, is now crooked. So it's kind of like the foundation of a house, right? If the foundation of the house is crooked, then you can fix the roof all day long. It's
yeah,
not going to matter because the foundation is crooked. So you can align the pelvic symphysis. And then, oh, finally, the sacroiliac will be in the right spot. It will stay there and it'll heal up.
yeah,
But
yeah,
every group I'm in, it's just so much pain and agony. And I just want to stop all of it because it's
yeah,
all fixable.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that must have an impact on you and your energy as well when you're in
Yeah.
these groups and people are saying, like you said, they spent hundreds and thousands of dollars or pounds or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And the insurance has run out and
Yeah.
they're just at the end of their rope. They really are.
Yeah.
They're looking for solutions and that to most people, they're not aware of the solutions that
Right.
you can offer and the TBT can offer as well. So I suppose what I would want to know as a rider, if I had either a practitioner come or I trained in the discipline myself, then could I really deal with these quite high level problems? I mean, I know you have different um, levels that you can go to
Mhm.
in TBT, don't you? You have the
Right.
practitioner and then the master and so on.
Right.
But as a practitioner or somebody who came to me just as a practitioner, not necessarily as the master, can they deal with those things?
Well, like you said, there is levels. So through module 2, they can align everything in the skeleton. So for my story I was just telling about the sacroiliac, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're
Wow,
done. You're out of sacroiliac pain.
that's incredible.
It is. I know. I love it. I'm just like, come on, guys.
Speechless, I'm speechless now.
So yeah,
Oh,
so then
God.
depending on what else is going on, you might need the extra levels. It just depends on
Yeah,
the horse.
yeah. Oh,
But
fantastic.
yeah, it's all fixable. And I think everything is kind of coming to a head. So many
Yeah,
people are at the end of the rope, have realized veterinary medicine and traditional medicine in general has great it's great for some things and then
yeah,
not for others. And I think what happened, okay, this happened to me because I went to vet school and I thought, this is it. I know I must know everything because I've gone to vet school.
yeah,
Sure, I'll have to continue reading some magazines, but I know everything. And it's really hard because that's what they teach you in vet school, that you know everything. That is what you believe. That's what they teachers believe. That's what they think. So until the vets get to the point where they're like, I can admit I don't know everything, but there could be an answer somewhere else. It's like so many of these vets don't even consider alternative yet. They
mm,
just say, well, I can't fix it, so put the horse down. And I'm just like, are you crazy?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
and I know I was there at one point. No, I wasn't. I know that I thought I should know everything as a veterinarian, and but then I realized I don't. So let me
yeah,
move on. And so I feel like it's coming to a head where so many people know this now, and they're
yeah,
starting to get willing to do stuff that was considered very strange, but that's what's working. I
yeah,
just think about this turning point, like right now.
yeah,
Yeah, where people are like,
yeah.
oh, wait, I can do that and I can get my horse fixed. Yes, you can. And then you don't have to worry. It's just so freeing. It's so wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, magical. I was telling you just before we started recording about I followed your ulcer protocol, which people can buy as a PDF, and it is brilliant and it's simple. It's for horse owners. It's not meant to be for somebody who's trained in science or chiropractor or whatever. And I telling you that, this has been a revelation for me because I thought if a horse has ulcers or suspected ulcers, you get the scope, you get the gastrogard, and you go down that route. And if it doesn't work, then you get some other medication and it goes on, and it may not work or it may work. You may look out. Um, but it's really great. And you're not saying, are you? Okay, no more gastrogard, no more traditional medications. But you're saying those are for specific circumstances, and we can use other means as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, when your horse is in serious pain, I've seen horses colicking and, well, appearing to colic because their ulcer pain was so bad.
Yeah,
And so, yes, absolutely. When you're in bad pain, sure, use the medications, get them out of pain, but don't stop there. Find out, well, why does the horse have ulcers? Because it's not stress. And by the way, I don't want to go through all of that, but I will have a video coming out shortly about ulcers, explaining that.
oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will be helpful. But
Oh,
yes,
I'm sure.
always keep asking the question. What's the next question? Well, why is the horse have ulcers? Well, what's causing that? Well, what can I do about Keep asking questions. I feel like in school we were taught don't ask questions,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
memorize the material. No, keep asking questions because the owners know your heart is always in your horse's energy field. So you're getting that info. So your instinct is right on. Just keep asking the questions and you can fix it. So
Oh, fabulous, fabulous. Well, I think people can access your websites. Tell us where you are on the internet. Tell us where you are on socials. How can we find out more?
Oh, okay, so cool. I have, like you mentioned way at the beginning, the website wheredoesmyhorsehurt.com. That's just the name of my book, and it kind of makes sense. And that's also the name of my YouTube channel. And then for the Tucker BioKinetic Technique, that is at tuckerbiokinetic.com. So two websites. That's it. I don't really do much else social, just YouTube, a little on Facebook, but I only have so much time, so
Yeah.
that's what I do.
Well, I can't wait for your ulcer video. I think that will be absolutely phenomenal because I'm just so interested in what you do and the education that you're giving us all. So thank you so much, Renee.
Oh, yes. You're so welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed talking. Thanks.
Take care and I'll see you
Okay.
again soon.
Awesome. Bye.